So Federline, her ex, was on Piers Morgan yesterday talking about how him and Britney's two sons are worried about their mom. And texted dad and said, I don't know what to do. I'm afraid mom's going to die.
Ooh, that's serious.
Oh my God, I don't know who that is.
It's the story everyone thought they knew. Britney Spears, the pop legend who fought her way out of a conservatorship, who reclaimed her voice, her freedom, and her life. But behind all the glitter, behind every post and every headline, there's another story. One that's deeply personal, painfully raw, and now impossible to ignore. Because after years of silence, Britney's kids are finally speaking out. And what they're saying changes everything. Before we dive in, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and tap that bell so you never miss an update. We're about to pull back the curtain on Hollywood's most complicated lives. And trust me, this one runs deep. Back in the mid-2000s, Britney Spears wasn't just the princess of pop. She was the heartbeat of a generation. At just 24, she became a mom, giving birth to two boys, Sean Preston and Jayden James Federline. For a while, it looked like a fairy tale. Adorable photos, doting interviews, and a pop star trying to balance fame with motherhood. But fame isn't kind. The pressure of constant cameras, judgment, and the loss of privacy turned what should have been happy years into the start of a painful spiral. When Britney's mental health struggles hit the public eye, the world didn't show compassion. It showed spectacle. Paparazzi followed her every move. Every haircut, every tear, every slip-up was broadcast across tabloids like a sport. Then came the conservatorship, one of the most shocking legal arrangements in pop culture history. Overnight, Britney went from global icon to a woman under total control, stripped of the right to make her own choices, even about her kids. For more than 13 years, Britney lived that way. Her father managed her life, her money, her career, and yes, her role as a mother. During that time, Sean and Jayden were mostly raised by their dad, Kevin Federline, who won custody after Britney's public breakdown. And even though Britney fought hard to see her sons, reports suggest visits were limited and supervised. The mother who once sang about lucky was living anything but. Fast forward to now, and the relationship between Britney and her sons has become one of the most discussed and misunderstood parts of her life. In recent months, and new reports claim the boys had only minimal contact with her. According to Britney herself, she's seen one son just 4 times in the past 5 years. The other, she says, hasn't visited in years. It's a heartbreaking admission from a woman who once called her children her everything. So how did it get this bad? That's where things take a darker turn. Kevin Federline, who's kept relatively low profile for years, recently resurfaced with a brand new memoir, You Thought You Knew. In it, he paints a disturbing picture of Britney behind closed doors. He claims she was unpredictable, sometimes frightening, and often detached from reality. He even alleges moments that shocked fans, like the now viral claim that their sons once woke up to Britney standing over them holding a knife. Now, to be clear, that claim hasn't been verified, but the damage was instant. Headlines exploded, social media erupted, and the world began questioning Britney all over again. It felt like 2007 all over again, only this time, instead of paparazzi photos, it was her own family's words putting her back under a microscope. Britney didn't stay silent for long. Within days, she fired back on social media, calling Kevin's book nothing but gaslighting for cash. She accused him of manipulating the narrative for profit, saying he's been painting her as unstable for years to justify the distance between her and their sons. In one post, Britney wrote that her sons were taught to fear her instead of love her, and that she's had enough of the lies. It was a rare moment of raw honesty, showing the emotional weight she's been carrying since losing her boys. Meanwhile, Kevin has defended his memoir as his truth, saying it's not about money, but about setting the record straight. He claims he's been protecting the kids from toxic narratives online. But let's be honest, if that were true, would putting their private lives in a book really be the way to protect them? The timing, the tone, and the tabloids say otherwise. Because now the sons at the center of this storm are old enough to have their own voices, and that's exactly what's happening.
Kind of spiraling, isn't it? So the reports and the videos and the pictures, she was at a restaurant this week behaving erratically inside the establishment, knocking over glasses, being held up by a friend while she's trying to toast the entire restaurant. Then she left, got into the driver's seat, even though people tried to stop her.
Oh boy.
Pulling out of the parking lot, almost running over her friend, tailgating other cars, speeding, screeching tires, all of that.
Jayden, the younger son, gave a quiet but powerful interview a while back. He said he still loves his mom and believes their relationship can be repaired one day. "I just want her to get better," he said. Those words hit hard, because behind every rumor and every headline, there's still a kid who misses his mother. Sean, the older brother, has stayed mostly out of the spotlight, but sources close to the family say he's the more reserved one, protective of his younger brother and cautious about the media circus that's surrounded their lives since birth. According to insiders, both boys recently made a phone call to Britney over Mother's Day, a small step toward reconciliation. For Britney, it meant everything. She reportedly cried afterward, calling it the best gift she could have asked for. But what fans don't see are the layers of emotion underneath that phone call. Years of distance, resentment, confusion, and pain don't disappear overnight. It's going to take time and trust. Then there's another twist: Britney's fear that her sons may never truly forgive her. Sources say she's been writing letters she never sends, hoping one day they'll understand what she went through. On social media, her posts have become increasingly emotional, sometimes joyful, sometimes cryptic, sometimes heartbreaking. It's clear she's still wrestling with being both a public figure and a mother, fighting for connection in private.
So Federline, her ex, was on Piers Morgan yesterday talking about how him and Britney's two sons are worried about their mom, saying they go and try to see her, but one of them...
And that brings us to the most haunting part of this story: the fear from the boys themselves. According to a recent Australian report, Sean and Jayden are said to be scared their mom might die. They're reportedly worried about her mental state, her lifestyle, and the pressure that comes with constant online scrutiny. Whether or not those fears are exaggerated by tabloids, the sentiment is real. These are two sons watching their mother's life unfold under relentless judgment, and they're terrified of losing her. Britney's fans, the loyal #FreeBritney movement that helped end her conservatorship, are divided. Some are heartbroken for her, believing Kevin's memoir is a cruel attempt to cash in. Others fear Britney hasn't received the right support since regaining her freedom. The truth likely sits somewhere in between, because even the strongest survivors carry scars that don't heal just because the headlines stop. In a rare post earlier this year, Britney shared a handwritten note. It read, "I love my boys more than anything. I just want them to know I'm still here." Those words weren't written for the press. They were written from a place of aching love. For someone who's spent years being silenced, those simple sentences spoke louder than any PR statement ever could. What makes this entire story so tragic is how public it's become. Every family fights. Every parent and child has moments they wish they could take back. But when you're Britney Spears, those private moments become world news. There's no quiet healing, no privacy to process grief or guilt. And that, more than anything, might be what's keeping the wounds open. Kevin Federline's memoir has reopened old wounds, but it's also forced the world to look at Britney not just as a pop star, but as a human being. A woman who's been pushed, exploited, mocked, and then expected to rebuild herself under the same spotlight that destroyed her. A woman whose sons were raised to fear her, even though she says all she ever wanted was to love them freely. And what about Sean and Jayden? Insiders say the boys are focusing on their futures. They're finishing school, exploring music, and staying close to their stepfamily in Hawaii, where they moved with Kevin and his wife. Some reports claim they're open to reconciling someday, but only if things feel safe. That word, safe, says more than any gossip headline ever could. Because safety isn't about money or fame, it's about peace. Britney's trying to find that peace too. After the storm of Kevin's memoir, she's reportedly spending more time offline, reconnecting with close friends, and even writing again. This time, music. Rumors suggest she's planning a deeply personal song inspired by her sons, describing motherhood not as perfection, but as survival. If true, it could be her most emotional track yet. Still, one question remains. Can they ever heal what's been broken? Can a mother and her sons rebuild trust after years of silence, distance, and public betrayal? Maybe, because even after everything, there's one thread that still connects them: love. It's messy, complicated, sometimes painful, but it's there. And as long as that love exists, there's still hope for a reunion, away from the noise, away from the judgment, and far from the flash of cameras. At the end of the day, this isn't just a story about Britney Spears. It's about how fame can twist the most sacred bonds, how the spotlight can blind even the purest love, and how redemption isn't about proving the world wrong. It's about finding peace within yourself. So whether you see Britney as the victim, the fighter, or the mother still searching for forgiveness, one thing's clear: her story isn't over. The truth about her bond with her kids is still being written, one chapter at a time, between heartbreak and healing. And maybe one day, when the cameras are gone and the noise dies down, we'll see a quiet photo of Britney reunited with her boys, not for likes, not for press, but because they finally found their way back to each other. Until that day, we can only hope time does what fame never could: heal. Thanks for watching. If you believe in second chances, hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this, because at Hush Buzz, we always go beyond the headlines.